Not legally.
Okay. Call the meeting in order. Roll call members.
Jenneru?
Yes.
Pierce?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Let the record show that Stella Herder is absent tonight.
Okay, we've had a chance to look over the minutes. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, I would ask for a motion.
I move we accept the minutes.
Second. Move to second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Okay, the only thing we have tonight is a vote on Kelly and Melissa Clark with the conditional use approval permit of operation of a rural enterprise business in an accessory building. Discussion. For you people who didn't see me out there tonight, I went out Tuesday night, spent some time, and from what I saw, I don't see that they're that close to the neighbors. The one that had the well concerned of up the hill from him.
Since I didn't give my recommendation last time, Mr. Chairman, do you want me to give it to you now?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Based on the above information, the recommendation of the planning department is to approve the request of the rural enterprise business, subject to the following conditions. Number one is that the area dedicated to the rural enterprise business should be limited to 600 square feet in the subject building. Any proposed hazardous byproducts and emissions proposed by this business must be stored and or disposed of in conformance with federal and state local regulations. Vehicles attached to vessels entering and exiting from the subject property must have the ability to do so in a forward motion as to not impact the traffic flow of the county road. Outside parking of vessels shall be for a maximum of 48 hours. The vessel must be operable and have a fitted cover. Outside storage of vessels for repair and or materials must be located to the rear of the property and behind a side obscuring fence. The proposed building shall be insulated as to mitigate noise. It's based on the following findings of fact. The subject property is located in the R2 district. The zoning ordinance adopted in conjunction with the land use plan stipulates that rural enterprise business is a permitted conditional use in the R2 district. The subject property is located in an area which is primarily residential. All business activity shall be conducted inside the accessory building to minimize the possibility of any negative impact created on the adjoining properties. The area dedicated to the business is 600 square feet. The business will consist of one employee, the property owner. No on-street parking is permitted with this land use, nor is any proposed by the applicant. Typically, the applicant will pick up and deliver boats, eliminating the needs for customers to come to the property. The existing road system is adequate to accommodate said business. As per the above condition number 3, the owner of the property resides at this location and is the owner-operator of the business. And any hazardous waste, byproducts, and emissions produced by this business will be stored and or disposed of in conformance with federal, state, and local regulations.
Okay, I see you're getting ready to say something.
Well, I just want to, on your staff recommendation format, where it says outside parking of vehicles shall be a maximum of 48 hours.
Yes.
Are you gonna, do you need or do we want to limit where that can be? You want the outside storage located in the rear of the property and behind an outside obscuring fence.
You could stipulate that the parking needs to be on a hard surface. And or in a designated area.
Well, I drove by, Tim, you were there Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
So there was boats out along the road then when you were there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not where we want them to be stored, right?
Storing of the boats would have to be behind the
That's
side
not where we
obscuring
want them
fence.
parked.
Parked? No, I would not think you'd want them parked in the front yard.
But then as you drive up the road, you notice there's several parked in front yards all the way up there.
Yeah, I noticed that too, boats and campers, both.
Campers, boats in the front
But
yard.
there's a huge difference between and a property owner's, toys, boats, campers, whatever, versus, somebody else's in a business being parked in the front.
No, I don't disagree with that. But I did notice that when I drove up there, that these people were complaining that as soon as you turn off, there's, you know, like I say, there's campers or boats. But I don't think you want 10, 12 boats sitting out front, no, I don't think that's what we want.
I mean, if it's his boat and his license, then, I mean, that's one thing, but like I said, with business activity, anything pertaining to the business.
How are you gonna measure 48 hours? I mean,
Steve had asked me this on the way in about how we go back and, you know, do we monitor these conditional use permits that we issue, through this board and the time, and we really don't, unless we get a complaint on them, we don't go back just yearly to see, and that is something that since I've, kind of gotten around to different things, that I have thought we do need to have some sort of a renewal process and or just review of these conditional use permits. 99% of them, we never hear from them again. And we don't get any complaints on them or anything else, but there is that 1%, and a lot of them are the mechanic shop deals that, and we run in the complaints that we get is, you know, they got cars lined up and down their driveway, 20, 30 cars sitting on their property. And so, and those are the ones, so then when we get those, we do go out and review the property, and then we do notify them that they are in violation of the conditions placed upon them in that permit. We give them a chance to correct it within 30 days. And then, you know, we'll monitor the site for as long as the inspectors are out just driving by. We don't make it a point to stop and just make contact with them again unless we do have another complaint, but.
I think that's a good point, because I know that we've approved things like, apartments above garages and stuff that were supposed to be for grandpa, and grandpa dies and you still see activity going into the apartment. I mean, I think that, you know, that there should be some kind of periodic review, maybe, you know. with that kind of
Because that's
thing.
not supposed to go on.
Right, when grandpa's gone, just be gone.
A few years ago, we did send letters to those types of, the two single family dwellings, and they had to provide us with
Oh, okay.
proof that that particular person was still living there, like a current mailing or a current bill or something.
The other question I have, Matt, is on number 3, where you have to pull into the driveway. The time I spent there, I think I saw one car go by. What happens if a neighbor's unhappy and I pull up there, if I had a boat? I know where he lives now, so I just pull up and back into his driveway and they snap a picture and complain.
Well, one thing we talked about when we were out there was putting another lane in
Mhm.
at the crest of that hill. And that way you could drive in, go through the building, come out the other driveway, make it
Oh.
like a U,
Okay.
which I think,
He also said he could hook onto his lawn tractor and he can move the motor
Mhm.
around if it's in the wrong
Or
direction.
like a skid loader or something.
Something like that, just turn it around.
And if somebody were to send a picture of
Mhm.
somebody, I guess it would really kind of have to be video of that person, you know, or a fairly good picture of them backing in and out, but it would be the same type of thing. I would send them a notice and say, hey, you know, we've got reports of people backing in and out of the driveway. 30 days, please correct it, and I really don't have many better options to try to monitor
Well, I
those
just didn't know
things.
whether that was, well, on that road, I didn't know if that was that important or not. If that's a stipulation you wanna mess with or not, I don't know.
Well, you know, based on the amount of acreage that he has, he can only use 600 square foot of the proposed building. That's only gonna really give him maybe enough room to work on 2 boats.
Right.
Maybe 1, depending
Right.
on how big it is. You know, so if we eliminate, the, on-site parking of
Right.
boats, everything he has should be in
In the back.
the shop.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I
And-
mean, that's not a big deal, I just noticed.
And that side obscuring fence, I mean, I agree with the condition, but from where he would have to put the storage of boats that he's working on down in that valley, he'd have to put up a 100-foot fence.
No, that's.
Well, and when we talked about, I did speak with him about, about the storage of the boats, and he had that concrete pad that went along next to the building that he had, right there, and it was about possibly even extending that pad back a little bit further. You would have to have a side obscuring fence on the other side of that pad, shielding the neighbors really down below.
Oh.
And then the building would then necessarily be shielding what's running alongside of the building there. The side obscuring fence requirement that is in, I mean, that's in that code section, but when you start looking at, a side obscuring fence of a 6-foot fence, and you're parking a boat back there, a lot of those boats be sticking up above that side obscuring fence.
Right.
And it is, I guess I would call it like a feel-good condition. It makes you, you're putting it behind the fence, so you're not looking at the entirety of it. You might see the windshield of the boat or a tower sticking above. And that's with a lot of things, a lot of these contractor storage yards that we deal with, and we say, okay, you can have it, but you have to build a side obscuring fence around it, and they build a side obscuring fence around it, and then they got a dump truck parked back there, and they got an excavator parked back there. Everything which is way above that 6-foot fence that goes around the property. I understand the thought process behind that condition, but when you really look at the practical use of it.
Well, that's why, I mean, I agree with you, Tim, I mean, you can put it in there, but it's got a shield fence.
No,
What are you guys thinking about that?
my preference would be that, that he would work on 2 or 3 boats at a time. And, then he could have, one in the shop and, one getting ready to come in, and if he has to pull the one out in the shop to wait for a part or something, he could pull, you know what I mean? It's
Right,
like,
right.
I think having a lineup of 10 boats out there to,
Yeah, I don't think about that.
So, but I mean, there isn't a condition that limits that
Mm-hmm.
or restricts that. I don't know if you wanna do that, or,
Put a limit on how many boats can be out there at one time, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
You mean parked outside or?
Well, I drove by there about 4 or 5 times in the last month. And there was, those boats that were out in the front yard, they were always there. And I don't know if that was a storage issue or waiting for parts or, I can't really say that they're the same boats, they look like the same boats.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't stop and
You can
take
serial
a
number.
picture, no. So, I don't know. What I really wish is that he would, find a 5-acre parcel a little bit further outside of town, and there'd be nothing we'd have to worry about.
Right.
I'd say that at this time of year might be one of the busiest times you'd have boats sitting there too. People are quitting using it for the summertime.
On winterized.
We have one winterized right now.
I don't wanna, I mean, it is a permitted business in that area.
Mhm.
As much as I don't care for it, in particular, we can't deny him an opportunity to.
And when I
Run a
visited with
business,
him,
but-
when I visited with him the other night, he talked about, $30, maybe a $50 fee for every day after, if he calls you and says your boat's ready, okay, your clock starts. You wanna pay 30 or $50 a night for it to sit here, that's fine, but that's what's gonna happen until you get it. That might be a motivator to come get your boat. So, but that's his business plan, that is something we didn't mention. Instead of just saying, well, I'll get it next month sometime, that racks up a pretty good bill.
Do we, what do you think, Jeanette? Do we wanna put a limit on the number?
Well, I hate, it's like the Finch, you hate to put stuff in that you're not gonna be able to enforce. I mean, it's like, I suppose if you see a bunch of boats sitting along the road, you know you had too many. Put a limit of four on the premises, how many can you get in the building? 2 in the building, 2 outside the building,
Possibly
1
one.
outside the building?
I don't know if you noticed that boat that was in his.
Yes.
I would assume that's his boat. If he put that in that 600 square foot area designated, that would fill it up. But
I don't think it hurt to put a limit on there. And I'd also like to see another road, because I think when you're turning, if you were backing a boat into there, even though that road isn't that busy, going down that driveway, there's no way you can go in forwards and come out forwards. If that number 3 is what we're wanting to do, is it's got to be entering and exiting property going forward. Well, see how you can go forward both directions with that driveway.
That was my point, I mean, if you can't back in there within,
But it says it's going forward though.
I know, but that's
Yeah.
why I question that one,
Yeah.
because if I pull up there with a boat, Steve, you got a boat, don't you? I got a horse trailer, you know, if I can't hit that driveway within 15 seconds, I probably should try something else.
I advise you, I'd sell that horse trailer.
Yeah, I would. I did, but I still got it.
And the thing is, the driveway would not have to be a paved driveway. They could use rock, couldn't they?
Right.
They could, it's just with the description when once he got to talking about the size of that building and really only having 15 feet on the other side of the property line, it would just, feasibility wise, he more or less just need to do work on that one drive that he's got to expand the area down lower out a little bit, to make that side a little bit more feasible, rather than putting in a new drive, because by the time that building the new building gets put into place and he runs that drive down there, even if he pulled down in there forward, he's not gonna be making that turn into the building with the boat behind him in 15 feet.
And once you get the boat off of the driveway, I don't care how long it takes you to get it back
Yeah.
into the shed, I mean.
And he did it, he did talk about just being able to pull down in there forward, being able to drop the boat, or back the boat up just a little bit, and then the lawn tractor would move it the rest of the way in, and then the person could leave, and when they came back in, then they could just hook up to it and pull back out forward.
Right, and you can do that too. I mean, it's not a big issue to me, I'm kinda like Jeanette, I don't like to put a lot of stipulations on it.
The number of boats sitting outside, I think you could definitely probably, if you wanted to put something, as far as being parked outside of the site obscuring fence area, the ones, and that's why when we talked about this the other day, we need to kind of look at what the definition of what was parked and what was storage. And the legal definitions on those would be, if it's a functioning boat just waiting for service, and it's parked there, then that's parked there for 48 hours. If anything longer than 48 hours, then it should be in the storage area. If it is a boat that is in immediate need of a part, then it's automatic storage. You don't even get that 48 hours. But if you're working on it and it was functioning, then you have that 48 hours before it goes into the storage area. But the minute you need a part, then it goes into the storage area and or in the building to be stored inside the building. So if you wanted to say, you're allowed to have two of the boats parked outside of the storage area, and then anything else would be in the storage area in the building.
So you could have 2 extra ones in the front yard.
Well, not the front yard.
And then obscure fence. I don't think.
Well, the site obscuring fence would be for your storage area. If we're just strictly talking parking,
Okay.
parking would just, you could say hard surface, and then that limits them kind of to the driveway unless they paved something in the front yard, but. Or you could say, we could have them designate out a parking, show us on your site plan that you submitted for us, where's your parking area? And in your parking area, if that's in front of your building, then that's where your 2 things go.
Well, we can't have a public hearing.
I don't think we need one, do we?
No. I don't know.
Well, can we just add add the number of votes to staff recommendations then?
You can do that.
Is that something you can live with, Kevin?
The only question I would have in that is, not that I necessarily would expect any potential complaints, but there just needs to be a differentiate of both of the votes you guys saw today are mine. They're both mine. So
Your votes don't count towards this.
I understand that, you guys understand that.
And we,
But he's
But when
saying
someone
that
wants to
the
call in
neighbors-
and
the neighbors
complain,
don't.
because there's 4 votes or 5 votes sitting outside, well, 2 of them are mine, so.
and you don't have to, I guess that's on us. We have that same deal when we deal with the mechanics shops, even with that last one that we just did for the mechanics shop, that gentleman owned a lot of cars that were his, and he was kinda like, what do I do with my vehicles? I'm like, well, what you do with your vehicles, I don't care about it, they're licensed, they're plated, and they're yours, and we're still gonna get calls. And we still do get calls, and we do go out and we'll verify, well, that's theirs. And once we verify that, then that is what it is.
Licensed and plated, those were, I mean, you're talking about those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So people can complain and then
You just go out and,
I mean, that comes with the job.
people complain.
Really?
Not rarely, but
No.
we do, we just have to go out and then follow up on it, and
so we could add a stipulation 4 customer votes on site at one time.
But we have, if you're gonna make them do a fence, is this besides what's the fence, or do we skip the fence?
Well, the site obscuring fence is part of the, ordinance.
so,
Ordinance.
for the storage area, outdoor storage, that's what there's a difference between the park and the storage. The storage area has to have a site obscuring
Yeah.
fence.
But we're talking about the number of boats total, or just behind the fence, or outside of the fence, or what are we
I
talking?
think we're talking about the parked vessels,
That aren't behind the fence.
yes.
So you could have 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know, whatever number you want. What do you think?
Put a
I mean, I
condition
think- I don't-
Limit the number of 4 customer votes.
Outside of the
On
fence.
site,
That would be outside of the fence.
it'd be outside the fence,
Okay.
but they would need to be stored or parked behind the house.
That seems like a lot of votes. You need 4?
Well, I mean, he's running a business.
Can't afford the business to have 1 boat, and let's say Steve Boats need
Yeah.
a week to get parts. If you run a business. The other thing is, maybe somebody pulls up there and drops a boat off during the day. Maybe he's gone, not there, you drop the boat off, you could have 2 or 3 customers stop off and drop a boat on a day, and then you'd move them back when he got home at night, and be fine.
Sounds good.
I would say, I don't know, 4,
Sounds
is that
good.
reasonable?
Okay.
Good. Okay, need a motion.
Jeanette, you're up. I did the last one.
I make a motion we approve the conditional use permit with the addition that, a maximum of 4 customer votes be on site at any one time,
Parked.
parked
On site. Okay.
at any time.
Second it.
Can they be parked anywhere though? I
What?
missed that
Yeah,
part.
or
Can they be
parked-
parked anywhere, or did you specify a parking area?
Those 4 could be anywhere, right?
Well, not on the road, but they already have that
No.
over there.
They need to be behind the house.
No, that's what we said.
Behind the house.
Okay. Okay. So behind
Do
the
you
house.
concur with that, Steve?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not
We add that to it, Pam.
4 customer, maximum of 4 customer boats may be parked.
Behind
Parked in the
house.
rear of the house.
That has nothing
But
to
you
do
can still have
with the
another
storage.
10 boats
No.
behind the fence, right? That's the way I understand it. You can still have 10 boats behind the fence.
You could,
Okay.
if they lined up there, yep.
Right, but I mean,
And then you have the building that they
Wait a minute.
could be used in, yep.
They have a building which is 20 by 30.
But And then there's the proposed that he was waiting on. He brought in plans for it and everything. He's ready to go on it, but he wanted to know if he could do this first. So there's that proposed building. It's gonna be attached to his building. It's gonna be a run-through.
So he'll have room for several boats.
Yeah, with a garage there.
With his garage.
Yes.
But he's gonna put up another building.
Yeah, well, according to our ordinance, he could put up a 2,000 square foot building, or 10,000. He would only be able to use 600 feet for his
Right.
business.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know how we'd ever monitor that, nor I don't wanna get into the monitoring
Okay.
part of that.
Why do we have that limited to 600 feet?
The so the way I interpret it is you got 600 feet that you can work on the boats. If he wants to park the boats on the other side
Okay.
around
okay,
it, fine.
Okay.
But you get I
Okay.
don't know how you monitor it.
Good.
I'm
Okay.
sure that's what's gonna happen, and if it doesn't bother.
Well, it's inside. Okay, got a motion, seconded, roll call vote.
Pierce,
Yes.
Wickman,
Sure.
White,
Yes,
Jenneman.
Yes.
been granted, get to work.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out and spending some time with us. That's,
We know you need some extra money because you got that out-of-state shirt on.
That's to be sympathy.
is that,
That's how I got it.
Whatever works.
it's not like I didn't have a Hawkeye shirt, I just kinda thought maybe you guys would feel a little sorry for me.
Is there anything else tonight, Matt?
Oh, we need a motion.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, moving second, all in favor, say aye.
Can we turn that off?
Opposed, same. Motion carried. We're done.